Hey guys, Phalaris here. Today we're going to be taking a look at an Evelynn player that is currently sporting a 111 win to 0 loss record through Diamond 4. Now, full transparency, of course, all of these games are being played with a duo, and they started in very, very low ELO. I think they started about 2 weeks ago playing through Bronze 4. So most of these wins were accrued in low ELO. That being said, it's still pretty impressive to reach this type of win rate and this type of KDA. So we're going to be taking a look and seeing how these guys are playing and what makes them so consistent. Now, in terms of items and runes, Evelynn is one of the most binary champions in the game. She doesn't have a whole lot of flex room. So this guy goes the exact same build every single game: Rocket Belt, Medjai's, Death Cap, into items like Lichbane and Void Staff. Runes, same thing every single game. Electrocute, he takes Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, Relentless Hunter, Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm, Double Adaptive, Scaling HP. Always. And then Pet, he either takes green or blue Pet depending on the amount of CC on the enemy team. Now, of course, no matter what game I pick to take a look at, it's going to be a stomp. This guy averages a KDA of 20, so we're just going to take a look at the most recent game because his duo actually didn't perform that well in this game, right? 3, 5, and 6, most of this came down to the Evelynn. Alright, let's hop in. So taking a look at the matchups, we have Jax into Fiora top lane. Fiora is being played by his duo. Udyr into Evelynn, Sylas into Corki mid, and Jhin Zillion into Nautilus Kai'Sa bot lane. So I would expect him to path top to bot this game. Kai'Sa Nautilus has really good gank setup and follow-up for him, and this duo snowballs very hard. Jhin Zillion, on the other hand, very fragile lane, no real escapes early. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Fiora has no real gank setup for the Evelynn. Jax is just going to leap strike out every time you try to gank him early on. So I think it's much more consistent just to path top to bot this game, try to get rolling off the enemy bot, and trust your top laner to play safe on the weak side. Okay, let's see what he elects to do. And yeah, looks like he is going for a top side start, leaving his duo to weak side. He goes Leashless level 1, Jax into Fiora. Anytime you see fist fight matchups like this, these guys really don't like to leash at level 1. They like to start in lane right away and start pushing. Okay, smites away the red buff. Focus down the big Krug here. Don't need to auto the medium Krug at all. It'll die to your Q AoE. Now notice how he's weaving in auto attacks very nicely. A lot of newer Evelynn players neglect her autos early on, even though it's quite a bit of your DPS. Let's take stock of the lanes real quick. It looks like Jax is slowly pushing into the Fiora up top. Down in bot lane, Kai'Sa Nautilus are actually pushing into Jhin Zillion. Jhin Zillion got to lane late, so I think that they were leashing for Udyr at level 1, so you would expect Udyr to have started bot side. And in mid lane, we have Chad melee Corki going in and tanking a turret shot. Optimal gameplay. Alright, he is in a lot of danger here, actually. He could get flashed on. Okay, not really what we want to see from our mid laner. Sylas off to a really good start. Okay. Eve did elect to take W at level 3. This is a bit unusual. It's the standard to go QEQ while full clearing, so I'm assuming she thinks that maybe she needs to go for a gank or counter gank breakoff, or that she might simply get invaded. Because this player does usually go QEQ as well. Does drop a ward, so I think she's just scared of the Udyr invade. Alright, so kiting this camp out. Yeah, QEQ is a little bit faster. I think it's probably similar HP, though. I don't think W actually saves you that much HP, just because you're clearing slower as well. He does ping on the way to the bot lane. Jhin Zillion is pushing in by this point, so from the looks of it, he might even skip the crab out. Otherwise, these guys are going to be able to crash and take a recall in time. So let's see what he elects to do here. He's really low, though, and he hasn't popped this potion quite yet, at least. Yeah, Evelynn is quite low in the early game right now, takes quite a bit of damage, so I think this is one of the champs where starting with a potion is actually quite nice. Okay, Jhin Zillion pushing in. She is coming in for the gank. Nautilus walking up. These guys should know what's up. Gets hooked. Does actually walk into the Zillion double bomb, but I think he'll still be able to get this. Yeah, no problem. And probably just going to help push out this lane afterwards. I don't think they can continue on to Zillion. Corki picks up Udyr. Oh! A little bit of a miss from Sylas, but Corki does go down. Wow, okay, already a 2-0 Sylas. This is going to be a little bit hard to deal with. Our Corki is not playing so well. Evelynn going to pick up the Scuttle Crab. Udyr still has 24 CS, so you can see that he did the same thing as Evelynn, ganked without taking Crab. So there is a chance Evelynn just runs up and takes the topside Crab here as well. May need to hold mid first, though. I'm curious to see if he just holds this for Corki, or if he takes this for himself. Sometimes you can just pull this wave to the side and make sure you hold it before Corki gets here so you can freeze for him. But he is down flash. Sylas is super strong early, so he might get killed if he tries to do that. So it looks like he just takes the cannon and gives the rest over to the Corki. Okay, Fiora getting all in on the top side. Looks like Jax TP'd back, and Fiora does go down, actually, and this wave looks really, really bad for her. That being said, she does have TP, so she will be able to TP back out and fix her own wave state. Okay, Evelynn taking the top crab. She's currently sitting on 1450. She could actually recall right now for Sork's Dark Seal, or she could clear her top side first. Yeah, looks like she is taking the recall. Evelynn almost always just rushes Sork's Dark Seal, gives her a lot of damage and mobility early. Fiora TP's back out. If you were versus a jungler more like Elise or Rek'Sai, there are times at which you may have to rush out and help your top laner crash this wave. But a champion like Udyr is just going to start on the bot side and sequence back up again, like 9.9 times out of 10. So I think Fiora should be able to just crash this on her own. But you do want to be aware at times, just run up top, make sure your top laner can crash before you return to your jungle. And Sylas does go down to Corki. These mid laners are just non-stop fighting, dropping like flies. Okay. Alright. Let's fast forward just a little bit. Evelynn clearing down towards bot side here. Udyr is looking to be holding mid. Based on her EXP, she may actually hit level 6 after her full clear here, and maybe look for a gank down onto the bot lane. Looks pretty close. Yeah, I think she'll hit level 6 here. So let's slow this down, see what she decides to do. And it looks like she is kiting towards a potential lane gank, right? As Evelynn, you don't have to walk through river. River is oftentimes pink warded. You can just walk through lane most of the time. Okay, so let's see how this plays out. Evelynn sneaking up through the lane bush. We'll see if Jhin and Zilean walk up. They kind of have to because the lane's getting frozen right here. But they're playing very, very far back right now. From their body language, it seems like they know something is up. So Evelynn may have to just kind of flip this gank and just go for it. Otherwise, she's going to be here for... Yeah, they're not even walking up the last hit right now. So they seem to know what's happening. Nautilus does hit his flash hook, so we get the kill on Jhin. Nice job, Nautilus. Evelynn could walk up for a potential dragon play. Looks like Sylas is very, very low right now, so potentially Evelynn could go catch him on his recall if he greeds it out. I'm hoping that he recognizes this, though, because she did walk up on vision. So let's see if he decides to greed his recall timer out. Yeah, she does find him. Okay, so this is going to be a kill onto the Sylas. Probably has to drop ult here, or he's going to go over the wall. Nice job. And this should be a pretty free dragon take now. Alright. Very nice. Grabs the crab. And is there going to be a fight here? Okay, enemy bot trying to prevent her bot from getting to lane. They should know Eve is here because they just took the dragon. Okay, so it looks like they were confident to do this because they had Udyr nearby. Alright, so kind of like a double bait play. Udyr dropping very low, but does look to get out. Nautilus is stuck in Udyr R, and he does go down. And meanwhile, Fiora goes down again in the top side, so her duo not performing so well right now. Okay. Kai'Sa might get dove here, so I think Eve needs to stick around and make sure to protect so her Kai'Sa can get the wave. Nice job. Yep, just threatens the Jhin off with a W, drops back to take her camps. Alright. She's sitting on 1600 gold right now. She could definitely take a recall soon. The next play would be up on the top side for the Rift Herald, so I wouldn't want to just full sequence up here. Yes, it'd be good for your camp sequencing, but you'd end up on the top side with no items, much weaker than you're supposed to be, right? So I'd kind of rather clear out my bot side here, take a recall, spend my gold, and then run out towards the top side personally. Let's see what he elects to do. Oh, and does look to recall. Looks like he doesn't even really care about clearing out his entire quadrant here. He's just recalling after the Gromp and heading straight for this top side. Quite interesting. Okay, and he does pick up a full Medjai's purchase. Wow. Okay, very, very ballsy purchase. Heading out towards his top. Fiora's trying to crash this wave. She needs to be a little bit careful of Udyr, but she doesn't have a choice here, right? She has to get this wave in. Oh, very aggressively trading with the Jax. Here comes Udyr. Is he going to be able to pick up Fiora? She can potentially just exit out this side and outplay. Let's see. Yeah, she's just going to queue over the wall. Nice job, Fiora. Eve does make her way over just to make sure. They could potentially go for a dive on Jax, but they do have to be mindful that Udyr is nearby here. Okay, let's see. Wave is almost in. Oh, and it looks like Udyr started walking in, so she just dropped the W on Udyr. Gonna be able to chunk him out here. And Jax flashes in for some reason. Okay, not very smart play from Jax. Eve does have to flash out, but this should be a pretty free Herald play. Yeah, Fiora still decent amount of health to work with, gonna be able to crash this wave. And Corki goes down again. These mid laners really don't like to live. Every time I look mid, one of them is dead. They really, really do not like to stay alive. Okay. Looks like a free Rift Herald for the Eve. Gonna be able to pick up the Scuttle Crab after. This is a little bit dangerous looking. Sylas moving over. And yeah, it looks like she is just leaving her Nautilus to die here, which I do think is the correct decision. You have Magi stacks, you have your entire topside jungle up here. If you die, it's really, really bad as Eve. So this might look a little bit heartless, but I think this is the correct decision as the jungler. That's kind of the Nautilus's fault for walking in the wrong direction after the Rift Herald play. Okay, clears out her Krugs. She has to be a little bit careful here since Udyr's in the area. Yeah, doesn't start up her red buff right away. Looks like she's actually pathing over to the top side, seeing if they can pick up the Jax again. Again, walking through lane, you don't always have to go through the jungle as Evelynn. Don't always have to go through river. That's where the control wards usually are. Okay, drops the W, and I think Jax will go down here. Udyr's in the area, though, so if Udyr... Yeah, here comes Udyr. Jax leap strikes out. Looks like Jax actually manages to get away. I don't think they're going to be able to pick up Udyr here either. And Sylas goes down again. These mid laners, man. Just like every 40 seconds, like clockwork, one of them dies. So Evelynn heading back into her jungle to pick up her red buff. I do think Dragon is coming up soon, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her take a recall after this red buff to spend her gold. If you sequence back down into the bot side, sure, it's efficient, but you're going to be sitting there with Dragon spawning with like 1600 gold, right? Not really what you want. Jhin flashing onto Corki, and Corki goes down again. Who could possibly have seen this coming? Alright, so Jhin walking up. Is he going to go down? No. Looks like he's just going to kite out, and Eve is going to clear out this wave. And yeah, please, if you're a jungler, don't clear Wolves and Gromp after this, okay? Sure, you're going to have a fancy 1800 gold in your pocket, but that doesn't mean anything if you haven't turned it into an item before the dragon fight. Yep, very smart recall here. Gonna be able to pick up her blasting and alternator in time for the dragon. Heads out for the bot side, and we'll see if one of the mid laners dies before the dragon spawns again. Okay. Not choosing to show up on the mid wave to collect this. Gives this over to the Corki. Corki does have package here, so this looks like a pretty good fight for them. She does get spotted on this control ward, though. Okay. Drops the Rift Herald mid. Gonna be interesting to see if they decide to just play in for this Herald, or if they just treat this as kind of like a split-pushing member so they can take this dragon. I think they might need to escort this in, though, because people are showing up to stop it. Okay. Oh, double bomb from the Zilean. Nice job. But they do manage to get the Herald charge off, and now they're heading over for the dragon. Okay. Oh, Corki going in. Nice. Okay. Corki going in. Everybody following in. And it looks like they are going to be able to pick up the Zilean here. Corki actually doesn't go down. Okay. Eve doing massive, massive damage. Ults out. Gets the Jhin. Coming back in to kill the Udyr. And this just looks like a massive wipe. Nautilus misses his Q point blank, but I don't think Sylas is going to be able to grab him. Wow, really, really big win for the red team here off of a lot of misplays from both teams. I don't think there was anything too fancy that happened there. Everybody just missed all their shit or just went in randomly. Okay, Evelynn, the beneficiary, going to be able to pick up this dragon. 18 Magi stacks. Going to have Proto Belt on her next recall. She is going to be absolutely massive. Okay, so the map is just going to reset here. She's probably going to take a reset as well, maybe after clearing her blue side and just pick up her items. So Eve taking a recall after her wolf camp. Just because Raptors and Krugs are up doesn't mean you have to go take them right away. You're playing League, not Whack-A-Mole, right? Just because you see a yellow dot on your map doesn't mean you have to click it right away. So this way, if a fight starts up on the top side, if there's anything she can potentially respond to, she's going to have her full item. She's going to be ready for the play, right? Okay, heads out to her Raptors. Her whole team is on reset and pushing up. I actually wouldn't even be surprised to see her skip the Krugs here and just get out onto the map to support her team. Because if you're tucked away in this little Krugs pit, and stuff happens on the map, you're not going to be able to respond. Yeah, she is rushing out onto the map. Jax goes in. Q Rocket Belt, instant kill. I don't think she even needs ult for this. Wow, look at that damage. But Fiora does go down to the Udyr. Alright, gonna push in this wave. There are a lot of missing members on the map right now. Like, anytime you finish a play, anytime you finish a gank, immediately look at your minimap and see who's missing. Right now, I wouldn't be too scared just because Corki's pushing in mid, so Jhin should be catching this mid wave, right? But you do want to take a look to see if you're actually able to push in for this safely. Oh, Jhin is here. Yeah, okay. So I wouldn't have expected this simply because, like, they're completely leaving this unattended. Does she go down? Yeah, she does go down and give her shutdown over to the Jhin. Again, I don't blame her here. I wouldn't have expected that, but that just goes to show why you need to take a look at the map, especially when you have a shutdown, right? People are going to be gunning for your bounty. Now, Jhin getting the bounty, I'm not too worried about. Evelynn can just one-shot him all game. It's a little bit more problematic if it goes over to a champion like Sylas. Alright, so blue team should be taking this chance to just rush out the Rift Herald, because if you wait, there's no way you can win a fight right now, right? This Evelynn is just too strong. So I think that Udyr should just be rushing it. Oh, looks like he's going for his bot side. Okay, not so smart from the Udyr. Go get the Rift Herald first, then retreat and take your camps, right? Because if you don't go for Rift Herald right now, Evelynn's just going to take it in 20 seconds. Alright. So a little bit strange from the Udyr to show a bot side there. I think he should have just rushed the Herald. And yeah, right, there's a little bit sloppy play from the Udyr. You can always go for your camps afterwards. Okay, so free Herald picked up for the red team, and they're probably just going to use this mid top. Alright, let's see what they do here. Kai'Sa going to pick up mid wave. No, they are running into enemy jungle here. Okay, just going to pause here real quick to talk about what they should do. Just let your Kai'Sa push mid. Let Kai'Sa walk mid, right? You can put down some shallow vision here. Nautilus maybe walk with her. Let her push in, because that means the enemy team's going to have to respond to this push, right? Otherwise, they're going to lose the minions again. Once they're responding to the push, you have first move, you have a tempo advantage, then you can run into the jungle and play some nice, safe, deep vision when you have eyes on the enemy laners in lane. But what they're doing here is they're kind of jumping the gun, rushing straight into enemy jungle. I mean, they are ahead of the enemy team, but I don't think this is the right way to go about this. Okay, Nautilus running in quite deep. And he does get caught out in the bush. Yeah, this doesn't make sense how they're playing this. And it looks like the Corki might go down as well. Yeah, pretty big throw from this team. I don't think any shutdowns went over, thankfully, but that's not how you play with a lead, right? First, secure the push in the lanes, make sure the enemy has to respond to the push, and then you can run into their jungle and secure jungle control. If they don't show up in the lanes, then they're simply losing all their minions to the turret, and that's absolutely fine as well, right? Okay, looks like these guys are trying to set up a trap. I'm pretty sure blue team can just ignore this and keep pushing forward. Yeah, so red team just walking back, securing this red buff. Kai'Sa and Nautilus are coming back out, so they could potentially go for a flank here. Corki's not up quite yet, though, and he does not have TP, but he does have package. So if blue team overstays here, they could look for a fight. Okay, hopping onto the Udyr, he does E out. Oh man, look at that damage. We do see the Zillion ult come down, though. Okay. And yeah, not much happens here. It looks like the Sylas stole the Nautilus ult for the disengage. Good job from Sylas. Dragon is coming up soon, so I would expect red team, hopefully, to just play some vision control in the red side jungle, and then drop back for the dragon. They can potentially look for some picks here. Corki does go in, and go down again. Surprise, surprise. Evelynn is looking for a pick on the tail end of this. Okay, misses her Q, gets exhausted, so probably just gonna have to walk out, maybe even ult out. Yeah, there we are. And she is going to be okay. This, oh man. This Corki plays so undisciplined. It's very unpleasant to watch. Because this should have been so simple, right? Just get push in the lanes, get some vision control in the enemy bot side jungle, and you can play in for the third Drake. But, alright, you can see Evelynn consistently, whenever something goes wrong, she doesn't just stick around to watch, she immediately crosses to the other side of the map to make a play, or to farm somewhere else. Right, when Nautilus got picked off in the topside river, she didn't go stay. Right, she just went to go take her Krug's camp. When her team all died over here, she didn't stick around. She just immediately crossed to the other side to look for a pick setup and to look for the enemy red buff. And here, when her team dies, ints, she doesn't stick around to watch the dragon die. Right, if she goes in on the dragon and she tries to steal it, even if she's successful on the steal, she's gonna go down, and then they lose the Baron. Right, so she's constantly looking for cross-map plays when her team does something stupid. Okay, gonna pick up this blue buff. Almost has enough gold for her death cap, so I think she's just gonna farm out her top side. You should ping your team to wait for you here, right? Look how insistent she is with these pings. You don't want to take a fight right now. Enemy team can't force the Baron right away, so ping your team off, go take your camps, and go buy your death cap. Okay, so Evelynn recalling on 2,300 gold, perfect for her decap purchase. She is going to be super, super strong now. So all you really have to do as red team here is let your Fiora split down bot, Typically, Fiora's going to attract at least 2 members over to stop her because she is ahead in the 1v1 right now, and you can play up for the nice 4v3 up on top side. Alright. Now, Corki is in the middle of nowhere, has to flash out. Okay. Completely unexpected for this player. Alright, I really don't know what he was doing there. He does get double bombed. Does he get caught out here? W's out. Nautilus is here to protect, so he's going to be okay. Evelynn does clear out the bot side. She didn't really have to do this. She could just play on the top side, but the enemy team had no threat of rushing the Baron, right? So it is okay to take your top side, bot side here, as long as you trust your team to stay alive, which I kind of don't. Okay. Looks like Jax is going to go down here. He was greeting for the tier 1 turret. Nautilus hits another hook. This guy's just been automatic with his Qs all game long. Great job, Nautilus. And it looks like this is going to be a pretty free Baron take. That being said, Nautilus is very low right now. Corki's low as well. So you could potentially just take the free kill and wait for a better timer. That's an option as well, unless the enemy team shows up bot here. But Corki does have TP, so I think they can start this up. Alright. Kai'Sa's getting the mid wave first, moves over. Enemy team shows on mid wave. They're probably going to collapse and try to stop this Baron. Nautilus is quite low. Yeah, looks like they're actually electing to call this Baron off. Now, I think they could have finished it with Corki TP, but there's no real need to take a risk here because the enemy team can't rush Baron on this timer, right? Evelynn is still full health and she is so strong at smiting Baron, so they can just wait for a better opportunity, to be honest. I don't hate this. Okay, Evelynn moving on to the mid wave. I don't think she's here to take it. I think she's here to catch someone. Here's Jhin. Yeah, this is like typical play for champions like Rengar, Twitch, Evelynn. When the enemy carry shows up mid to try to push out the wave, you just show up and kill them. One-shot them. Right? This is so typical for stealth champions in solo queue. Like, ideally, the Jhin only walks up if he has his team to support him. But in solo queue, especially outside of really high elo, it just doesn't happen. You can usually just walk mid, catch the enemy ADC or mid laner trying to push out the wave, get the free pick, and go for the Baron. Right? If they don't show up to get prio, then your team gets free prio, and you get to extend vision control into top side and play off the vision control to try to make picks or get Baron. Alright, let's see here. Their team is pushing in. Fiora is dead right now. Kai'Sa's pushing up without much help at the moment. Nautilus is somewhat nearby, but this is kind of the opposite of what we saw before. Jax flashing in. Yeah, a little bit dangerous play from Kai'Sa. I think she should have waited a little bit more for her team to get over and support her. And she does go down. Carry players just aren't very respectful. They go in without team, and they get caught over and over. Okay. Evelynn has to ult out, kind of playing on the fringe. Look at this regen, right? You can just wait it out. When you have decap, your passive scales off AP in terms of the amount of regen, so just wait for the regen, and you'll basically heal to full. That's why Evelynn almost always wants her death cap, whereas other AP burst type champions typically pick up Shadow Flame. You don't get Shadow Flame on Evelynn, you get raw AP with Medjai's and death cap. And then you itemize into penetration with stuff like Void Staff. Okay. Healing up here. And this player in general is fairly risk averse. You saw in the earlier play around Herald where Nautilus made the mistake and walked in. He didn't go support his Nautilus. He just went to take his Krugs. Right? Let his Nautilus die, doesn't die with his Nautilus. In the next play around Dragon, when his team died, he didn't sit here trying to go for a Dragon steal, right? Risk dying and giving up Baron. He just went for a play up on top side. And over here, he doesn't risk a potential 50-50 smite fight on the Baron, right? Or his team getting chased down. He just called it off, came back in for a pick onto the Jhin, set up a better situation. Very, very risk averse, and that, that kind of explains his 20 average KDA. Now, I don't think these guys are going to be able to end on this push, so they're just going to back out, take the dragon, reset, spend some gold, and then come back out for another push. Yep. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. Comes and takes the Udyr's jungle. Kai'Sa grabs the dragon, he pushes out the wave, kind of hovering around to see if he can make a pick, but there's none to be had, so he takes a recall, picks up his full Void Staff, and now this team is just going to come back in and try for another push. Alright, running mid again, seeing if he can catch anyone for free. Let's see. It is the Sylas, so he's a bit tanky. Doesn't manage to get the one-shot. Sylas has very, very fast reactions there. Steals the Eve's ultimate and ults out. Okay. Alright, Eve does still have ulti, so she can basically just come back and try again. Right? As long as she doesn't get one shot on her play, she can just keep backing out after bursting. Right? Heal back up off her passive and go for another play. Here's the ulti from Nautilus. Does she manage to get the one-shot? Jhin does get the Zillion ulti. Okay, does get stunned here. Probably has to ult out. That was a little bit careless from her. They don't have Kaisa, they don't have Fiora, so just kite this out, don't full commit, allow your Fiora to split push. Fiora does come in from behind, and it looks like this may be game. Yeah. Alright, so that will be the end of the game. I think pretty typical Evelynn gameplay, but the main takeaways here is this guy's very, very risk-averse, right? That's what this champion allows you to do, and that's also kind of how you have to play if you go Medjais. So whenever his team is inting, he doesn't follow them in to die, he just goes to look for a cross-map play or farm some camps in the downtime. When he goes for a play, if the play doesn't work out, right, he just kind of backs out, heals up off his death cap, off his passive, and goes in again for another attempt, right? Very, very careful gameplay. Thanks for watching. A quick reminder that I do coach over at nice.gg if you want to check that out. The link is in the video description below. As always, a big thank you to my patrons for helping to make this channel possible.